Guys, Modern Warfare 2 is unfinished. A $100 Call of Duty game has been released in possibly the worst state I have ever seen a Call of Duty released in. In this video we are going through everything that has caused this Call of Duty launch to be an absolute shambles. And I think it's best to break this video down into two different sections, the first one being a look at all of the expected features that are simply just completely missing from the game, and then the second being the stuff that is in the game but is either complete trash or it needs a lot of attention if this game is going to be a success. So let's start off by taking a deep dive into the multiple features, the multiple expected features that are simply just missing. First up, we have no combat record, no barracks tab, there's no basic stat tracking, there's no weapon tracking, no KD, no win-loss ratios, no time played, no score per minute, nothing. And to take that further, we also don't have any leaderboards. I mean, come on guys, this is basic stuff. We've had that kind of stuff in the game since Black Ops 1. I mean, there is no excuse. We've had leaderboards since Call of Duty started. We've had combat records and barracks since the early Black Ops days. You know, there is no excuse for that. On the topic of progression and tracking, we do not have access to any challenges. I think that in the game, you can see yourself unlocking the challenges when you're actually playing, but we don't have access to viewing them. The only challenges we can see are the camo challenges. The other usual stuff we expect, like game mode challenges, capture 3 flags in one game, or get 3 merciless medals, all that stuff is just not there. It is simply not there. And again, to build on top of the challenges, we can't see the rewards that we would normally get for completing challenges. Examples being calling cards, emblems, stickers, weapon charms. There is a base number of that kind of stuff in the game, which by the way is a nightmare to change with regards to how the user interface works. You kind of have to, feels like you're going into the back end of the game to change it. It doesn't really make any sense, but it is in there. You can change it, but it's not very good. But it's just the usual stuff. There's some beta calling cards, there's some basic Modern Warfare 2 stuff, some basic flags, nothing special. There is no after action report. All you can see when you finish a game is just how much XP you earned, player XP, and obviously your weapon XP, but that is it. And you can see the scoreboard. There's no breakdown, there's no kind of medals you earned in the game, there's no challenges you completed, nothing. It's just not there. There is no hardcore mode. The hardcore mode is in the game files. You can set up private matches as hardcore matches, which has now been renamed to Tier 1, by the way. I don't know, unnecessary rebranding, but there we go. It's just not in the game. I did see a blog post from Activision saying that the hardcore game mode will be released with the launch of Season 1 in the middle of November, but not to have a fundamental game mode, which does have a decent fan following, not in the game from day one, is just poor. Another missing feature is the double XP countdown, or the double XP timers. You are able to activate double XP for both the player progression and for your weapon, but there is no timer or any indication on how long you have left when these tokens have been activated, which is particularly annoying when you factor in the fact that the tokens are counted down in real time and not in in-game time. One of the maps, the museum map that we saw in the beta, is completely missing, and there's been zero communication on why that map has been removed, and no mention to indicate if it will be returning anytime soon. During the beta, I know there was issues with kind of white light flickering and flashing, which obviously can be very dangerous for some medical conditions and some people playing the game, so I can imagine that that problem has persisted through into launch and they've just decided to remove it without saying anything. And I wonder if they expected us to notice. I mean, they gave us Crown Raceway, which they had some copyright issues on, so if they just gone, yeah, they can have that one instead, and maybe they won't notice. I don't know, but it's just not there. They have already removed the tuning system from the game, so if you're not aware, when you level up a gun to its max weapon level, you are able to tune some of the attachments on there. You can make them have more recoil stabilization, you can make them have a faster ADS speed, and I say you can, you now can't, because they have already removed, suspended, however you want to look at it, a feature that they were promising with the launch of this game has now been removed, and with no mention on when it's coming back, what's wrong with it, nothing like that. Apparently it was causing some players to experience game crashes, and that is all they have said. Now the one thing I noticed today is there is no kill counter, or at least I have not experienced a kill counter during gameplay, and I mean the counter that sits near the player's name that you just killed. You could be on a 15 kill streak and have no idea what number in that kill streak you are on. It doesn't tell you. It doesn't tell you if you're on a 9, 10, 11, nothing. Just says you killed X player. That's it. It doesn't say what kill streak you're on. Obviously, you can kind of tell where you are with your kill streaks. If you have a 10 kill streak on and you get it, you kind of know where you are. But after that, you are on your own. You have to count yourself, which is such a step back for the quality of life for the gameplay. So moving on to the second section, this is the section that the stuff is there, but it needs more content added, or it needs a lot of attention to make this successful. And first off, we have the maps. There is only 10 6v6 traditional maps in the game, 3 of which were in the beta. One of them has now been removed, so there should be 11. Well, I don't know why they chose 11, but one of them's gone. So we are now only experiencing 7 new maps. Apart from the maps that were in the beta, which I can now see why they put those maps in the beta, Farm 18, Las Almas, the hotel, they were all a wide variety of settings, whereas these new 7 maps, apart from Crown Raceway, I mean, they're all pretty much the same. I know they plan on adding maps in DLC packs, but 10 maps at launch? I mean, come on guys. Call of Duty 4 had more than that. Call of Duty Vanguard had more than that. That had 16 traditional, what I call 6v6 multiplayer maps, because they listened to the feedback. Everyone said, this sucks, why are you just releasing 10 maps? And they've already gone back on that. We've already now lost a third of the map count again. In this game, we do have a firing range this year, but in my opinion, it's trash. It's completely useless. It has 3 target dummies at close, medium, long range. They move out of the firing sight that you want to actually hit them in, which is extremely annoying, and they have no indication of telling how hard your guns are hitting, how much health the dummies have, nothing at all. All the firing range is good for is inspecting your weapon, seeing how fast the ADS speed is, and testing out the recoil pattern. That is it. And you can do that in a private match anyway, so this is just wasted space. And when I was getting some footage for this video today, I also noticed that the target dummies don't have any damage multipliers applied to them. So they take the same amount of bullets to kill regardless if you're hitting them in the head, the chest, the legs. So it makes weapon damage testing completely useless. Completely useless. Why is that even a thing? Now moving on, the user interface has been improved, but it needs a lot more work. It's still clunky, unclear, the weapon trees don't really make sense, it's not clear what you need to do or how you unlock certain attachments. Some of it's kind of nonsensical too. To unlock the best red dot sight in the game, you have to level up and unlock it on a shotgun. It doesn't really make that much sense to me, if I'm going to be honest. Dead Silence is back as a field upgrade despite the massive amounts of backlash they had during the beta, and it still rings out a massively annoying and triggering whistly kind of whining noise. So when you do decide to use it, people can hear you anyway because you just whistle past them. It's basically useless. There has been massive issues with crashing, especially on PC. When you invite players, sometimes that doesn't work and you both crash. The PlayStation 5 has had a problem where it's been stuck on an installing screen. So the only way around it is to close the PlayStation 5 down, turn it off and restart it. I've had to turn my PlayStation off upwards of 5 times just to log on to the game, just to get onto the servers. Team spawning is back in the game and is quite possibly in the worst state I have ever seen. Have they not learned anything? Skill-based matchmaking is of course back in the game and it's sweatier than ever, despite the fact that they refuse to take responsibility for it being in the game. They refuse to tell us how it works. I mean guys, come on, I'm running out of energy discussing this shambles of a chaotic launch of a AAA $100 game. So I'm going to wrap it up there before I get too angry and ruin my day off. Let me know your thoughts on the game down below. Are you enjoying it despite all of the missing features and the issues, or are you hating it? Let me know down below. Thank you for staying tuned to the video. As always, feel free to subscribe to the channel for all of the latest Call of Duty news, tips and tricks, how-tos, class setups, and much more.